Hey friends, welcome to another episode of the Spa Marketing Made Easy podcast. I am so excited to be coming to you live right here in the free Facebook group to chat about money. And more specifically, I want to give you a sneak peek into my weekly financial system, how I'm staying on top of managing our money, managing the finances in our business. Now, something that has come up multiple times is I will be talking with spa owners who are doing, high multi-six, even seven figures in revenue, and they are barely paying attention to their numbers. This is a problem, my friends. So when we're looking at our numbers, we have our CPA that sends us our financial statement. That statement, first off, should be sent to you every single month, not just twice a year, not when you're doing, if you do quarterly taxes or anything like that, but every single month you should be looking at that statement and understand, what are my revenues? What are my expenses? What is my net profit? Those are the bulk of the things that we're looking at. Okay. So what is a good sign is that revenue is higher than expenses, which means that you actually have a net profit. There's money that is left over. Okay. So that is the most basic. Hi, Gail. That is the most basic piece that I want you to look at. Now, what happens in a kind of financial journey as we as entrepreneurs are learning more and more about the financial health of our business, looking to see how much we can pay ourselves, looking to see if we can actually afford that next piece of equipment or afford another provider. We're looking at our statements, but we're not understanding cash flow. Those are two different things. So when you get your statement back from your CPA or your bookkeeper, it'll have a number on there for net profit or how much was left over after the month. Now, typically they're getting you this statement, usually I'd say by the second week of the month for the previous month. So when you go and log into your bank account, the number that you see on that piece of paper is going to look very different than the number that you see in your bank account. And that's problem number one, is where people are saying, hey, I'm getting my statement and on paper it says that I have money, but when I look at my bank account, I don't see any money. So this becomes a cash flow problem. So the next piece that we're looking at is managing through cash flow. And for those of you that have heard me talk about YNAB, that's You Need a Budget, YNAB. This is a software that one of our growth factor coaches, Nicole Cooley, she's been on the podcast before. She has been just such a life changer for me in my business and helping me to manage my cash flow, that I wanted to bring her in to be a coach inside of Growth Factor. She teaches budgeting in there. She teaches finance. She teaches cash flow management, which is very different than understanding your P&L. And what she has done with this software, the YNAB software, is set up, we use Profit First. So she has set up our holding tanks. So our kind of, yes, Amanda's got the link right there. So she set up our holding tanks for us to put our dollar amount in those holding tanks. And this is what I do week after week. So I'm going to explain how YNAB works, and then I'm going to give you an overview of what my specific financial system looks like each and every week. What are the things that I'm looking at? And then I'll also zoom out a little bit more and give you an idea of what I'm doing on a monthly, quarterly, and annual basis. So inside of YNAB, I had Nicole get this set up for me, where the way that we are operating our business, or I'll just tell you the percentages that I recommend for a spa. So for spa, I love to see 40% payroll, 30% operating, 15% profit, 15% tax. Now, these numbers are guidelines. They are not set in stone because there are so many different business models. For example, a spa that focuses very much on hydrofacials is going to have a different profit margin than a spa that focuses exclusively on waxing, right? The cost of service is going to be very different. It's a totally different thing to buy a hydrofacial machine versus buying a wax pot. It's a totally different thing. The consumable cost for a hydrofacial versus wax, right? So when we're looking at this entire system, someone that's focusing on wax may have less operating cost than someone who's focusing on hydrofacial, and vice versa, right? So depending on the services that you're doing. So use this as a guideline. Never go over 40% payroll, but you have some wiggle room. If you can get your payroll down to 30%, and maybe you need a little bit more room in overhead, or you want to take that and move it into profit, good for you. That's amazing, right? So what is set up in YNAB is anytime that money comes in through our payment processor, we in particular use a software called Stripe, but there's a lot of different ones. It'll say inflow ready to assign. And just for the sake of easy numbers, let's say that on Monday when I go in, we have $10,000 that came in. So I am going to take 40% of 10,000, which is $4,000. I'm going to put that into my payroll holding tank. Then I'm going to take 30% of 10,000 and I'm going to put that into my overhead holding tank, which is $3,000. Same thing with the tax and the profit. I'm going to take 1,500 and 1,500 and put those into those accounts. Now, when I have this software set up, I have my holding tank. So for operations holding tank, then there will be a line item underneath each one of those that will be rent, electricity, gas if you have gas, any of your softwares that you're using, whatever these expenses are, Zoom, right? All of those different expenses that fall under overhead that you can actually budget for. Okay. So by doing this every single week in entrepreneurship, you guys know it would be amazing if we could say, I want to have $1 million spa. So I'm just going to take $1 million and divide it by 12 and have $83,000 a month, $83,333 a month. And that's how it's going to be. That's not how it works, right? There's Q1 and Q4 that tend to be our busiest months. So you've got to really budget out, when is the money coming in? What are the goals for those particular months? You may have one month that you do a $60,000 month, but you may have another month that you do a $100,000 month. So if we're looking at these differences, when you manage your cash through a percentage system and you're doing this on a regular basis, those months that you have the bigger months, you're still going to take the same percentage and allocate the dollars appropriately so that you can see over the course of the year, am I staying within my 40% payroll? Am I staying within my 30% overhead? Am I staying within my 15% profit, 15% tax? Now, the way that I pay myself, I am a S Corp. I'm an LLC filing as an S Corp. So that's because we have W-2 employees. Now, I will pay myself as an employee, and my employee payroll comes out of the 40%. However, I also take weekly distributions from the profit account. Okay. So for you as a business owner, you can say my reasonable salary is I'm going to be a W-2 employee and I'm going to take a reasonable salary as a W-2 employee. And then all of my extra bonus is going to come out of the profit. Unless you're planning to sell your company, then you are fine to take the profit out of there. You are fine to pull that money for yourself. That's what it's for, right? You obviously want to make sure that your business savings is built up. My CPA actually recommends having 60 to 75 days worth of expenses. So for example, if your expenses were, let's just say, $30,000 a month, it would mean that it cost you about $1,000 a day to operate your business. So 30,000 divided by approximately 30 days in a month, that's about $30,000, or excuse me, about $1,000 a day to operate your business. From there, we're saying, okay, well, if we want 60 to 75 days in our business savings, we want 60 to 75,000 in our business savings if it cost us 30,000 a month to operate our business. Okay. So goal number one would be getting that business savings to a healthy place. If you have your business savings in a healthy place and you're paying yourself as a W-2, then feel free to pull out of those profits, right? That is, you are making still a very responsible decision. Okay. So that is what we use YNAB for. So what I'm doing on my weekly financial system is I'm, number one, logging into my bank account and I'm looking at, did everything go through? Is there anything that I'm not sure what it is? Just looking and ensuring, understanding what the balances are in my various accounts, and just making sure that everything looks normal and good. Then I go to my credit card and I look at my credit card and I make sure that I recognize all of the charges. I personally pay my credit card every single week. So I like to keep my balance relatively low. If we're looking at building business credit, it's very similar to building personal credit where you don't want more, the debt to income ratio is very important. So even if your limit is 60,000, you don't want that to go up really high. You want to keep it at least no more than 30% used. Okay. So for me, because we choose to put everything possible that we can on our credit card to get the miles and the points and all of that stuff, but we never carry a credit card balance. So we're putting everything on there that we can. And then every week I'm going in and paying a set amount that keeps our balance low and manageable. I'm also looking at Stripe, which is our payment processor. I'm making sure everything looks okay in Stripe. I'm making sure that there's no disputes. I'm making sure that all of our payments are lining up with what we expected. And from there, I'm also paying myself from our bank account. Okay. So this whole process takes me about 30 minutes. I'm reviewing our numbers, reviewing everything. And something that for a lot of women can feel scary, right? If you're like, oh my gosh, I just feel like I don't have any money. I have no idea what our numbers are. The more consistent you are with looking at your numbers, building a relationship with your money, understanding that it's a tool, right? The easier it's going to get. And, I was having a conversation with a spa owner who was really struggling around her finances and was just saying, I've got to get more money coming in. I feel like I don't have any money right now. And when we looked at, okay, what is actually happening? How much money do you actually have coming in? How much money does it actually take to operate your business? She was doing way better than she thought. And so it's just a matter of really getting comfortable with those numbers. I think so many of us, we are fearful. What does that mean, right? A lot of times how much money we make, we associate that with our identity, with how successful we are, with how worthy we are, with how accomplished we are. I must be lovable if I pay myself a six-figure salary. I must be smart or successful if I pay myself insert whatever your number is, right? But the reality is, like, your money is just a tool. Your worth has nothing to do with how much money you make. Okay. So listen to that over and over again if you need to, but your worth as a human being has nothing to do with how much money you make. Your money is a tool to share with you the health of your business. What's going on in your business? What needs more attention? What needs less attention? Right? Look at it like that. Look at your money as a KPI to understand how you can manage it further and use that money to help you grow. Okay. So, all right, let's talk about what I'm doing on a monthly basis then. So that's on a weekly basis. And what I'm doing on a monthly basis is looking at our cash flow tracker. So we keep track, we break down all of our programs. So Growth Factor is our most popular program. We've got a lot of people inside of Growth Factor, a lot of spas in Growth Factor. And the way that it works is that it is a 6-month membership. There's a 6-month commitment, and then it goes month to month after that. Now, our alumni have the option. So we call our alumni the people that have been through the first 6 months. If they choose to recommit to another 6 months, they get a discounted price. So we have them all set up in a cash flow tracker that is going to show us how much money we can reasonably expect to come in over the next 6 months. So who's on contract, right? How many spas do we have in there? What is their monthly rate? What is their commitment? Knowing that with 99.9% certainty that money's coming in, right? There's always, what typically happens if we have a failed payment is that the zip code on the credit card is wrong. Like when they got reissued a new credit card, they forgot to update it with us. And it's just a little bit of an administrative thing for us to go and resolve that and then collect the revenue. So we can say that with 99% certainty, we know in this month, this is how much money we are going to have coming in. So for those of you that have memberships, it is a great tool to have a membership tracker to understand your projections, right? How much money can I expect to be coming in over the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? And the longer you have your membership, depending on the commitment that they have, whether it is, that time commitment of 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, and then you're looking at your retention rate. How many people typically stay? What's the average number of cancellations per month? What can you do to retain those people? What can you do to reactivate the people that have canceled, but you want to get them back into the membership? Really looking at all of those pieces as to how you can reasonably predict and conservatively predict your cash flow. I will tell you something. Not starting at zero every single month gives you such peace of mind, which is one of the reasons that I love memberships so much. But to go back to the financial system piece of it, on a monthly basis, I am looking at my tracker. I'm looking at what did the tracker say that we had coming in? What actually came in? How can I use that information to set our goals? Because we obviously want to grow, right? So we're going to say, here's what we have projected to come in. Here's what we want to hit. So here's the amount of new sales revenue that we need to come into our company. So as you're planning for 2023, or as you are, in 2023 and really focusing on making this happen for you, setting your goals, right? It doesn't work to just say, I want $1 million spa. And we're just not going to give the team any guidance or goals to work towards. You've got to really break that down month by month, week by week, day by day to keep your team on board. to keep them focused and for you to understand, am I on track to actually reach my goals? And I see Ellery on here saying, I'm so excited to start with YNAB. So super cool. Jolene is saying, I'd love this. I'd love an opportunity to have one-on-one sessions surrounding the numbers. Jolene, we actually do hot seats inside of Growth Factor. So we do laser coaching in there. And my YNAB coach, Nicole, who has helped me so much, I actually hired her to bring her into Growth Factor, and she does regular calls in there to help with budgeting, to help with finance, to help with cash flow. I can always tell you guys what I do and what I recommend. But she's the one that has helped me. So I love bringing the people that have helped me so much in my company and sharing them with our Growth Factor members. We also did a podcast episode with her. So even if you're not in any of our programs, you still have the opportunity to hear her expertise and hear more about what she does and how she has helped. Okay, so that's on a monthly basis. Quarterly, I'm really doing like a quarterly review and seeing, am I on track with the numbers that I set for myself? And then annual, we're obviously looking at, okay, annually, what did we set? Were we short? Were we over? You know, it's really important to give yourself a goal that is still going to challenge you. Don't give yourself a goal that is an easy goal. Unless you're saying, hey, I know that this year I need more time for myself. I need more balance. I need to do more yoga. I need more time with my kids. So my goal is to just do the same amount of revenue that we did last year. And I'm just going to focus on my profit margin a little bit. Or I'm happy because I'm making a conscious choice that as long as I do the same as I did last year, it's going to be great, right? You don't have to grow every single year. You want to build your business around the life you want to live. You will never look back and say, oh my gosh, I wish I would have worked more instead of spending that time with my kids. I wish I would have, I don't know, insert whatever you want to insert, but it sounds funny when we say it because nobody is going to say that. Our life is so precious. Our time is so precious. We are building our business as a long-term game. This is a long-term strategy. This is a long-term commitment. Okay. So give yourself what you need in that season of life that you're in. However, I will say, the more you know your numbers, the more comfortable you are with cash flow management, the more comfortable you are understanding how can I hire, when can I get support, the faster you will reach your goals. So building that relationship with money, getting comfortable with your money, getting comfortable talking about it is so vitally important. All right. So here inside the Spa Marketing Made Easy Facebook group, we can always talk about money. I always want to encourage women to get comfortable talking about their financial goals, setting big financial goals, asking questions about money management, all the things. This is a safe place that we can talk about that and that we can support you. Okay. We've got to get more comfortable around these topics so that we can also be better leaders in our company. We've got to be comfortable talking about money because we're talking about compensation with our team, right? We're setting goals with them, all of these things. It's such an important topic. And it all begins with building that relationship with money, which the way that I have done it is through a regular weekly financial system where I'm getting all in the weeds with my credit cards, my bank account, how I'm managing cash flow, all the things. Okay. So I hope this was helpful. I want to really encourage you guys to just do a deep dive. Look at where you're at. Understand your revenue, understand your expenses, understand your net profit for the month, but also for the year. And if you're not doing that, if it scares you, just take a baby step, right? Every day is a new day. Every day is a new opportunity to get closer to your goals. So thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for hanging out with me. I am going to sign off now, but I want you to keep the conversation going here inside the group. Please tag us. Let us know if there's anything that we can help or support you with.